It got to be a 6-point game. They made it close, and then you immediately went on, I think, an 11-0 run to kind of take control back. What did they do to make it close there for a second, and how did you guys respond?
I think a lot of for them was, in transition, they were able to make buckets, I would say, and for us, we were able to, come together and say we need to stop transition buckets and take care of the ball to stop that 6-point gap.
When you have a size advantage like you guys did, obviously that's something that can play into your favor, but are there challenges going against a team that is undersized like that? What's it like playing against a team when you know you have that kind of size advantage?
I think for a lot of teams we go against, we have to deal with, them packing the paint. We throw the ball inside. All of our players are turning around and, putting hands up for them. So I think to make it easier for our post, we got to be able to hit outside shots or, straight line drives to the basket.
Any nerves set in when they cut it to 6? Or
I think speaking for me personally, no, not really. But maybe for the younger ones on the bench, they get a little nervous. But for the ones that been around for a little while, I think we're able to handle it well.
There might be some who will look at this and say, "Oh, you guys were only up 6 on a team out at Summit League. How will this game make you better as you head into your SEC play?"
I think just looking at this team, they're a good, competitive team. They play hard, and that's going to be any team we play against. And I think it's, another game to, turn the page, go to practice, and look at how we played and what we can do better.
Okay, with that, any questions online for Brea? If you have a question, please unmute yourself. Looks like we got a question from Jeremiah.
Yeah, Brea, obviously this was another game where Camila Cardoso, very active, I guess, on the boards and also just blocking shots. Just from your perspective, just like how big has that been this season, and just how big was it in tonight's win as well?
I think for us, especially in practice, we hammer on her and tell her, be dominant. When she's dominant, she's unstoppable, and it makes the game, so much easier. So for her to be dominant in these games, it makes it easier for us as a team.
Next question comes to us from Alan Cole. Alan, go ahead.
You had career highs tonight in steals and blocks. Do you ever remember, even at any level of basketball, having a defensive game like the one you had tonight? And what do you think you had working so well to just kind of explode on defense in this game?
I definitely not. I don't remember a game I've had like this, but when it comes to, close games like that, it kind of just comes naturally. You're not really thinking, oh, I need a pressure. It's just like, okay, we don't have the time to, sag off and play regular defense. We need to get the ball and get the ball through the rim.
And let's go to Emily Adams. Emily, go ahead.
Brea, you had a couple games there a few weeks ago with 0 points. Tonight you have 9. Just, what kind of situations do you feel like get your offensive game going like it was tonight?
I think definitely for me, it's again, a defensive thing. It makes it so much easier on my part. We have great scorers on our team, from the starters to the bench. For me, I'm a defensive leader. So, for me to get those steals and complete them in transition, it makes the game a lot easier.
Perfect. And with that, let's go ahead and thank you for your participation. We'll kick it over to Coach Staley. Questions from the media assembled in the room, please.
Don, what did you see that South Dakota State was able to do when they did cut it to 6?
They were themselves. Obviously, we played this game knowing that we're going to be challenged. They are a really good basketball team in which, they make you pay. They're patient. They are calculating and intentional defensively as well as offensively. We just knew when they cut the lead, we knew they weren't going to go away. That's number one. And number two, I think sometimes we hurt ourselves. Sometimes we took some ill-advised shots that put us out of defensive transition defense, and they got some easy buckets. And we weren't as disciplined, and we gave them and ones when we probably should have just given up the bucket. And those are just momentum plays that we have to clean up. We got some new players who are playing, intricate minutes for us that we're still trying to, gel. But this was a challenge. It was a good measuring stick to where we want to be, what we need to do. It's an NCAA team. that's a team that's probably going to upset a lot of people in the tournament. And fortunately for us, we get them early, so we get a chance to see them again. We're more familiar with it. But if it's just a one game, like in a tournament, they're hard to prepare for.
What can you say to as far as what Bree was referring to with smaller teams trying to pack it on you? How'd you feel like your team handled that?
Yeah, I mean, we knew that was going to happen. Yeah, I thought we made some adjustments at halftime, just kind of clear things up for us. Just flatten them off and get our guards involved, taking some shots. And I mean, our post players know they have to finish in the crowd. They're going to see 2 and 3. Our job is to find that there is a time in the possession where you're transitioning from transition offense to going into running a set. And that is the time that the defense is most vulnerable. And we need to get our post players the ball during that time. And we try to express that to our players, but it's a hard thing for them to see it. So we're going to watch it on film and then really break it down so we can steal some buckets here and there with people packing it in on us.
Keep playing games out here. Obviously, you did the last couple of years against pretty good South Dakota teams, not to mention the other team that was in that rotation. There's men's teams would not do this, and there's probably a lot of women's programs that wouldn't.
I mean, it's a little bit of superstition because when we come here, we've ended the season on a really, really high note. And then part of it is just the hospitality. Like, they got banners of our team up in the gym. They got banners of South Dakota State in the gym. They make you feel super welcome. I mean, this is, they treat women's basketball like it's a sport. They put on a show. Like they make us feel great about being here. There's a great crowd. I mean, this is the kind of environment that we want to play in. It's very similar to playing an NCAA tournament, like in December. I know it's a blizzard out there, but that's cool too because you never know where the Final Four is going to be, where you're going to have to travel to. So it's always good to play in an environment that you really get something out of it competitively. You get something out of it when it comes to hospitality and them making you feel really good about being here.
This is their first look at snow out there yet.
I mean, most of them, we've been here last year, so it snows every time.
Worse this time.
It's a little worse this time. Let's see if we can get out. We got to get out. See if our plane can lift up and get back to 60-degree Columbia, South Carolina.
Apologies for the weather. Let's start with virtual media. Please raise your virtual hand if you have a question for Coach Staley. We've got Jeremiah here. Go ahead, Jeremiah.
Coach, you talked earlier this season about how you have some of the players, I guess, look to Brea Beal just with her experience and what she brings to both ends of the court. But when she has a game like she did today on both ends, just what kind of examples does that set and just what does that do for, I guess, maybe some of the younger players on the squad?
I really don't think there is another player in the country that can do what she does. Not another player. She's an elite defender. She's patient. She lets the stars be the star and ends up being the star. Her offense is coming. Like, I think she's more and more comfortable shooting the basketball. We're encouraging her to shoot the ball a lot more, and she's getting there. And to me, I think she's great. She's irreplaceable. Leah Boston's irreplaceable. That entire class is really irreplaceable because they're like Legos. They just work well together, and it's they brought pure joy to our team and our fans and our university and our city and our state.
We've got time. Let's let Emily go next, and then we'll fall by Alan, and then we'll let Coach go. Emily, go ahead.
Coach, you guys have had a couple of those, slow offensive first halves and then really picked it up in the second half. Do you feel like that's just sort of a product of, the travel and all that, or is there something else you feel like is kind of going on there?
Well, Emily, if you've ever played against, someone that has the player behind our post players in front, and on the side, your offense can get a little stagnant. And I think after halftime, we make adjustments and we try to give our players, we try to simplify. I think at times in the first and second quarter, it becomes psychological because they're playing so far off of you that you want that ball to go in. So you probably take a shot that's a little bit too soon in the offense. You take a shot that's not, a rhythm shot in our offense, and it can make it look like it's not very good offense. But I thought in the third and fourth quarters, we took better shots. We put our players in positions where we knew they were going to shoot it, so we can get rebounds, and hopefully so we can get into just some balanced transitional defensive positions.
And the last question of the night for Coach Staley belongs to Alan. Alan, go ahead.
Yep. This is kind of a different type of game than some of the ones you've won this year. You've had some blowouts, the UCLA game, the offense kind of brought you back, kind of the same thing with Stanford. Do you kind of feel like you feel better as a coach when your team wins a different type of game? Does that do anything, just seeing kind of finding a different way to win so close to conference play starting in a couple weeks?
Yeah, the teams, we play our schedule. Like, we're strategic in playing the type of schedule that we play, because we want to see it all. We want to see, we want to measure ourselves up against different styles, and it's gut check. This is a gut check win for us to come here, to have the crowd. We're used to playing in front of big crowds. We're not used to playing in front of big crowds on the road. It just prepares us. And I think that our players are challenged. Brea Beal just talked about, she doesn't get flustered. They don't flinch. They welcome different challenges to see where they are and how they can grow and how we can win in different ways.
That'll do it for South Carolina. Thank you so much, Coach. I always appreciate you. Good luck this season. Go cut down some more nets.